In Japan has one of the lowest obesity rates on the planet. Less than 4% of the population is clinically obese. In the United States, that number is 43%. The difference isn't metabolism, it isn't genetics, it isn't even the food. It's a 500-year-old instruction that most Japanese people follow without even thinking about it. 3 words spoken before every meal, words that trigger a biological mechanism so powerful that modern science is only now beginning to fully understand it. Those 3 words are Hara Hachi Bu. What Hara Hachi Bu actually means. Hara Hachi Bu is a Confucian teaching practiced most strictly in Okinawa, the Japanese island, with the highest concentration of centenarians on Earth, people who regularly live past 100 Zent. It translates to eat until you are 80% full. That sounds simple, almost too simple, but the biology behind why stopping at 80% produces dramatically different outcomes than stopping at 100% is one of the most fascinating stories in nutritional science. And it begins not in your stomach, but in your brain. Mechanism 1, the 20-minute fullness. Delay. Your stomach and your brain are not connected in real time. When you eat, your stomach sends fullness signals to your brain through a cascade of hormones, primarily leptin and cholecystokin. But this signal takes approximately 20 minutes to complete the journey. 20 minutes from the moment food enters your stomach to the moment your brain registers that you are full. Think of it like ordering food delivery. The restaurant has already started cooking. Your stomach is filling, but the notification that your order is on the way hasn't arrived yet. In those 20 minutes, the average person eating at a modern pace consumes between 300 and 500 extra calories they didn't need every single meal, every single day. The Japanese practice of Hara Hachi Bu is essentially a biological workaround for this 20-minute lag. By stopping before the signal arrives, you land exactly where your body actually needed you to stop. Mechanism 2, insulin. And the 80% threshold, there is a precise point in every meal where your body's insulin response shifts from efficient to excessive. In the first 80% of a meal, your body releases insulin proportionally matching the incoming glucose with exactly the right amount of insulin to process it cleanly. Your cells absorb energy efficiently. Blood sugar remains stable. Past that threshold in the final 20% of a meal that most people eat automatically, something changes. Your blood sugar spikes disproportionately. Insulin surges to catch up. When insulin is chronically elevated after every meal, your fat cells receive a continuous signal to store rather than burn. Researchers studying Okinawan centenarians found their average daily caloric intake was 11% lower than mainland Japanese and 40% lower than Americans, not through dieting, not through restriction, simply through the consistent, lifelong habit of stopping 20% earlier than the feeling of fullness. Science mechanism 3, caloric restriction and cellular longevities. Here is where the science becomes extraordinary. Through decades of research on caloric restriction, consistently eating slightly less than full capacity has shown something that no supplement, no drug, and no intervention has been able to replicate. It extends healthy lifespan at the cellular level. When your body operates in a mild caloric deficit at every meal, it activates a protein called SIRT1, a member of the sirtuin family, the same repair proteins that require NAD+ to function. SIRT1 responds to mild energy scarcity by upregulating cellular repair, reducing inflammation, and improving mitochondrial efficiency. Your cells, sensing that resources are slightly limited, shift into a conservation and maintenance mode. They become more efficient. They produce less waste. They age more slowly. The people of Okinawa have been unknowingly activating this cellular longevity pathway 3 times a day, every day, for generations. Not with medicine, with a mealtime mindset. Solution 1. Eat slowly enough for the signal to arrive. The 20-minute fullness delay is not a design flaw. It evolved at a time when food required effort, hunting, foraging, chewing tough plant matter, and protein. Slow eating was the default. The signal arrived on time. Modern food is engineered to be consumed fast. Soft textures, pre-processed ingredients, liquid calories that bypass chewing entirely. We eat a full meal in 8 minutes, and the signal never catches up. The first intervention is the simplest. Extend every meal to at least 20 minutes. Put your utensil down between bites. Chew each mouthful completely before loading the next. Drink water between bites. In Japan, meals are culturally treated as events, not fuel stops. This isn't politeness. It is biology working correctly. Solution 3. Solution 2. Recognize the 80% signal. Most people have never experienced 80% fullness because they have never stopped to look for it. They eat until the plate is empty or until discomfort arrives. These are cultural cues, not biological ones. The 80% signal is subtle. It feels like the first moment eating stops being pleasurable. The first moment where another bite feels like effort rather than enjoyment. The Japanese describe it as the absence of hunger, not the presence of fullness. Practice identifying this moment. Pause halfway through every meal for 60 seconds. Sit with what you feel, not full, not hungry. That neutral point that is 80%. The more consistently you identify it and stop there, the more clearly your body will signal it in the future. The sensitivity is trainable. Solution health. Solution 3. Use smaller vessels. Traditional Japanese tableware is significantly smaller than Western equivalents. Bowls, not plates. Portions presented in multiple small dishes, rather than one large serving. Which this is not aesthetic. It is environmental design that makes Hara Hachi Bu easier to practice. Research from Cornell University's Food and Brand Lab found that plate size directly controls how much people eat independent of hunger levels. People served on larger plates consistently eat 22% more without realizing it. The visual signal of a full small bowl triggers the same psychological satisfaction as a full large plate. You do not need willpower to eat less. You need an environment that makes eating less the default. Smaller bowls. Mrr.Richer smaller serving spoons, food presented in courses rather than all at once. These structural changes reduce caloric intake without requiring a single conscious decision at the moment of eating. PYOF Twila. CTA 6 Mrr.Richer et.6 and Ranker Antramirik Plats. Hara Hachi Bu is not a diet. It is not a restriction. It is not a calorie counting system. It is the recognition that your body already knows exactly how much it needs, and that the only reason most of us overshoot that amount is because we are eating faster than our own biology can communicate with itself. The people of Okinawa did not discover a secret. They preserved an instruction that the rest of the modern world quietly discarded in the pursuit of bigger portions and faster meals. 3 words, spoken before every meal for 500 years. Hara Hachi Bu, eat until you are 80% full. Stop there. And let your biology do the rest. If this changed how you will approach your next meal, tell me in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.